Apple's iPhones may look nearly identical at first glance, but beneath that familiar sleek exterior, each generation tells a different story. And the upcoming iPhone 17 series is no exception, as fresh leaks now reveal some fascinating changes in chipset and hardware configuration, especially with the much-anticipated iPhone 17 Air, a device that could redefine how Apple balances power and design. Because while the standard iPhone 17 is expected to feature Apple's A19 chip, the ultra-thin iPhone 17 Air will reportedly run on the A19 Pro chipset, but with a 5-core GPU, instead of the full 6-core version that will power the Pro and Pro Max models. And this slight difference may come down to the Air's ultra-slim frame, which limits heat dissipation and forces Apple to compromise by disabling a GPU core. Yet despite this, the Air is still shaping up to be incredibly powerful. And here's where things get even more intriguing, because RAM will serve as a clear dividing line between the base iPhone 17 and its higher-tier siblings, with the standard iPhone 17 sticking to 8 gigabytes of RAM, while the Air, Pro, and Pro Max all boast a massive 12 gigabytes, a leap that places Apple closer than ever to its Android rivals in terms of multitasking power. And this means the iPhone 17 Air, though slimmer and lighter, will almost match the Pro's configuration, giving consumers a very tempting middle ground option. But questions still linger, as conflicting reports suggest that the Air might instead carry the same A19 chip as the base model, making this detail one of the biggest uncertainties surrounding Apple's lineup. However, trusted sources maintain that the Air is more likely to use a slightly toned-down version of the Pro chip, cutting just one GPU core to keep thermals in check, while still delivering near-Pro level performance. And that's what excitement really builds, because Apple has never offered an Air version of the iPhone before, making this not just another model, but potentially a whole new category in Apple's ecosystem, much like the MacBook Air carved out its space by offering portability without compromising too much on performance. And if history repeats, the iPhone 17 Air could easily become one of the most popular models this year, especially for users who want to power the Pro in a lighter, thinner, and more elegant form, and beyond chipsets and RAM. The differences continue, as the Air is said to carry a slightly smaller display and battery compared to the Pro, but still large enough to keep everyday users satisfied. And if Apple manages to optimize iOS 19 with the new 2nm-based A19 Pro chipset, the Air could strike a perfect balance between efficiency, speed, and design, making it the sweet spot for many buyers. And industry insiders are already calling it Apple's most strategic iPhone release in years, because it targets a huge audience who desire premium performance without needing the Pro Max's massive size, but still want something more powerful than the base model. And this segmentation strategy makes sense, as Apple continues to diversify its lineup to capture every type of user, from casual upgraders to power-hungry professionals. And another exciting factor is how this will play into Apple's rumored push toward AI-driven features, as having 12 gigabytes of RAM in the Air, Pro, and Pro Max could unlock next-level machine learning, photo processing, and AR performance, while also future-proofing these devices for years to come. And considering the rise of mixed reality and Vision Pro integration, it's easy to see why Apple is aligning its phones with more powerful GPUs and higher RAM, because the iPhone of the future won't just be a phone. It will be a gateway into Apple's entire digital ecosystem. And while the Air's missing GPU core might seem like a small downgrade, in practical use it may not even be noticeable for average consumers, making the device even more appealing. And if Apple prices it strategically, it could outsell both the base iPhone 17 and possibly even the Pro Max, as analysts predict that the slim, powerful, and stylish Air model will resonate with millions who want Pro-like performance without the Pro-like bulk. And according to our source, Apple's iPhone 17 Air shows a very precise approach, almost matching the Pro's configuration, except for cutting one GPU core and having a slightly smaller display and battery. But expectations are sky high that this will become one of Apple's biggest hits this year. And that perfectly sums up the situation, because whether the Air ends up closer to the base model or nearly identical to the Pro, it's clear that Apple is preparing something bold, and fans around the globe are already hyped, sharing renders, concepts, and endless discussions online. And as leaks continue to pour in, one thing remains certain: the iPhone 17 Air isn't just a rumor. It's shaping up to be one of the most exciting Apple releases in years. And when Apple finally takes a stage in September, the world will be watching closely to see if the iPhone 17 Air lives up to hype, and we'll be here to cover it all, only on TechVerse.